Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I received a very nice little gift from a chap named Al on Instagram. His Instagram channel is called Awesome Geeky Stuff. I think there's some underscores in between the words. And he basically ordered a drape cape from Jackson for his DX19 Dark Knight Hot Toys Batman 1/6 scale figure. But as the DX19 is taller than all of the other Dark Knight suit Batmans by Hot Toys so far, this drape cape, which is the short version, was going to be way too short for his DX19, so he got in touch and said, would you like it? I'll just send it along to you and you can put it on one of your Batman figures. And I said, that's amazing, dude, thank you so much. So yeah, thank you, Al, for awesome Jackson drape cape. Now I have one of these. I think it's the exact same one on my Armory Batman. It's very dark, folks, sorry, all the lights are pointed over at the horror side. That's getting all the shine at the moment. The DC wall is quite dark. But on my Batman Begins Batman, I have a long Jackson cape. So I want to see, that's what I thought. As soon as Al got in touch and said it's a short drape cape for, you know, the Armory Batman by Hot Toys, I thought, well, I can get that on my Batman Begins, and then I'll have a drape cape, which is the short one, and a longer one for when I want that more kind of theatrical look. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this on my Batman Begins and show it to you and see how it looks with a shorter cape. And I'll start by showing you how it looks with the long one that's on him at the moment as well. But massive thank you to Al for such an awesome, kind thought. Thank you so much, man. And I'll put up his Instagram page on the screen now. Make sure you go give him a follow. He's got some great photography on there of Hot Toys stuff. Definitely worth checking out. Alright, so better lighting now, and this is my nice long drape cape from Jackson. I've had it on my Batman Begins figure for quite a while now, but as you can see, it is the longer style. So the one that Al has sent me here in this little bag will come right to the bottom of his boots, really, and just maybe just touch the ground when he's standing, or maybe it will hang slightly above and just drape nicely. So I'm looking forward to finding out. But if you want to see more of this particular cape, I've done some videos on the channel, folks. Just type into YouTube Dean Knight 333 Batman Begins figure and you'll get a lot of content. It's been 16 years. I mean, this is the reason I started the channel, Batman Begins, so I've got a lot of videos. It's yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. It might be a bit overwhelming when you type that into YouTube, but look for stuff within the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, and you'll find it a bit more easily. But yeah, if you want to see more of this beautiful long cape, then you can check that out on the channel. But it's absolutely stunning, and a lot of, you know, custom pieces and modified stuff. The figure originally was the Toy Fair exclusive Batman Begins by Hot Toys, and that was from Derek Fagan, who I haven't heard from in a long time. I hope he's okay. Just can't get hold of the dude. I hope he's doing all right out there. I need to chase him up again. He was amazing and sent this my way because he had, you know, little space and lots of figures in storage, and he knew that Batman Begins was my absolute favorite. So he kindly sent along the figure, and then I changed the gauntlets to the Takara gauntlets. We've got the Batman Armory, the Dark Knight Armory figure boots on this one, and a Unreal Customs head sculpt, which is the actual the first one that they made, the prototype, the one that you saw if you're following Unreal Customs on Instagram. And Facebook, this is the one that they were using for the pictures. So I got that one from them, and that is just an amazing piece. That's also been reviewed on the channel. So let's swap the capes around and see the difference. But I really do like the longer look. But it'll be interesting to have the shorter version too for more kind of fighting poses. Stuff like that. Okay, so I wanted to film myself doing this just so as I'm explaining things, hopefully it makes more sense. So the cape that I have on Batman Begins was actually intended for a Dark Knight suit Hot Toys figure, and so is this new cape that Al has sent me. You can see that by the these little, you know, thick little plastic bits that are supposed to go into the two holes on the Dark Knight suit. But I just basically tuck them in to the Batman Begins suit, and that worked absolutely perfect. I've been wrestling with my dog Ruby, so if you can see loads of hairs on my sleeve, I'm sorry about that, folks. But as you can see, it's the same setup with this one, but just a longer cape. So let me just see how much longer it is. I'll just hold them up here. So yeah, the new one here and the older long one on the right is significantly longer than this shorter one. So I'm going to install, I don't know why there's so many weird little hairs all over my Batman Begins. So let me install this, just make sure I've got everything the right way around. It seems okay. So I'll just stuff these in here, into the, just in between the rubber suit and the body. Simple as that. I mean, I'm just literally just plugging these little doohickeys under the rubber suit, in between the rubber suit and the plastic body of the figure. So that is installed. That is done. And that seems to be hanging at a really nice length here. I mean, it's nice to have the option, that's for sure. Thank you so much, Al. Alright, so now I'll just have to bring the corners of the cape around a little bit. Just make sure it looks natural. There we go. Alright. Looking too bad. Yeah, that looks beautiful. Alright, so we are done. Alright, so it looks nice and natural. Those little clips on these Jackson capes just fit nice and snug in between the rubber suit and the body. And that's as simple as it is, really. It's very effective. The cape, even though it's not velvet, does have a nice jet black contrast against the more charcoal finish of the suit, which is accurate. The gauntlets, which I switched out to the Takara, are more shiny, which they should be, and more black. And the belt is a more kind of dark bronze, like it was in Batman Begins. And obviously the custom head by Unreal Customs has that very recognizable anger and intimidation factor that he had in Batman Begins, which he lost in the next two movies, The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, which is a big reason why I don't like those two films as much as the first one from the trilogy. I still think Batman Begins is absolute perfection. As far as I don't think it's been surpassed. I did really enjoy the Batman movie, and I will try and pick up the Hot Toys Robert Pattinson Batman figure at some point. But no, I think Batman Begins is still top. I think the reason The Dark Knight gets as much attention as it does is because of Heath Ledger as the Joker, which is totally understandable. He was amazing, and I absolutely love that performance. But we're talking about Batman here, and this to me is still the very best and truest to my vision of what the Batman always was. Batman Begins ticked all the boxes and got it just right for me personally. I still love Michael Keaton, can't wait to see him back. I mean, I was like 9 years old when I saw the 89 Batman movie in the cinema. I was like 12 years old when I saw Batman Returns. I absolutely loved both of them. Love both of those bat suits. Love Keaton as Batman. But Batman Begins is just perfect to me. I mean, so intimidating looking. Look at him. That is just fierce. And I haven't even got his fists up. Let's just go ahead and do that. And just beautifully just position the cape. So easy to do with a nice thin material like this. And still got some decent articulation in this guy, surprisingly, because it's quite an old figure now. Get those fists up. Get them up. Put them up. Put up your dukes. There he is. I'll pull back the camera in a minute. We'll get a look at the figure from head to toe as it turns, but it looks really nice like this. And I was just thinking about David Esquire, who was writing Batman Begins with Christopher Nolan. The determination of Bruce Wayne in that movie, the first film of the trilogy, and how he was so determined and driven to make a change in Gotham. But in my head, and this is what I was hoping when The Dark Knight came out and I saw the movie, and then a couple of years went by and I was thinking, okay, what's going to happen in The Dark Knight Rises? I thought, and I swear in the comics they did something like this as well, where Batman kind of lost it for a little while and he was using a bit too much force with criminals, and that's why I was hoping The Dark Knight Rises would kind of pick up there, you know, that after Rachel had died, Batman was still going out there doing his thing, but people were starting to turn up at Gotham General Hospital with a few more broken bones than they needed, you know. And but instead they went the route of him just cutting himself off and letting crime happen. And they make a point of saying in The Dark Knight Rises that crime's really low and Batman pretty much cleaned up the city and the mob's taken care of, but surely stuff was still happening out there on the streets at night. This guy right here, I just don't believe that he would have taken that amount of time off and been moping around in his massive mansion. It never made sense to me, and I can't help but wonder if David Goyer had been involved in the writing for The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, how things would have played out. Anyway, it's just stuff I like to think about. Batman Begins is my favourite film of all time, so I do think about this stuff from time to time. It's been a bit of a horror fest as usual on the channel, so it's nice to go back sometimes to the thing that made me start this channel in the first place, which is this guy from this movie. And I just like to talk about it. I'm probably repeating myself because of all the hundreds of Batman Begins videos I've done, so forgive me if that's the case. But I'm sure there's some of you out there who still enjoy hearing about this kind of stuff in the midst of the chaos that the world is in. What are you going to do? It's a hobby. It's nice to take your mind off some of the dark stuff with fictional dark stuff. Let's pan out and see the figure turning from head to toe. Alright, so I'm just going handheld for this, and cape is reaching a nice point. It's not quite touching the ground that he's standing on, or the surface he's standing on, but it's a short cape, so this is the kind of one I would use if I was doing like a fight scene pose where he's, going fist to fist with someone. Because the longer cape, as beautiful as it looks for dramatic kind of brooding shots of him standing on a rooftop, cape blowing in the wind and all that, it's a bit impractical for a fight with a bunch of ninjas from the League of Shadows because he'd be tripping up over his own cape. So for fighting scenes, a cape like this is perfect, really. So I am very happy with this, Al. Thank you so much again, man. Definitely gives me some great options for display. It's nice to be able to change things up. But that's worked out really nice. Alright folks, before I wrap up the video, I'll just let you know about something that's coming to the channel tomorrow. And it's something I said I was never going to get. And I do feel a little bit, what's the word? Well, whatever the word is, a little bit embarrassed. Because it's the Hot Toys Classic Suit Spider-Man, and I did my thoughts video on that when it was first announced by Hot Toys, and I was pissed off about the fact that the head and the hands had raised webbing but the suit did not, and it was very inconsistent, and it seemed like such an easy figure for them to get right at this point, given all the Hot Toys Spider-Man figures that have been produced to date. But I was on eBay last night. I just had a random little look, and the last time I did this was when I ended up getting the Hot Toys Mandalorian figures. So I was in my bedroom last night, wee hours of the morning, should have been asleep, but as usual I'm up doing my thing. And I'm playing Cyberpunk and I'm on a loading screen, so I pick up my phone. I think, let's have a look on eBay. Let's type in Hot Toys, see what comes up. And one of the first things that came up when I typed in Hot Toys on eBay was a classic suit Spider-Man in the UK, brand new, never opened, for a pretty reasonable price. And straight away I thought, oh, my gut just told me you should get that, because even though you said you'd never buy it, I do love Spider-Man, and I don't have a 1/6 scale Spider-Man anymore. I've had a few of them over the years, but I always get a little bit bored and end up selling them, and I may end up selling the classic suit, who knows. But I just, given the, the kind of harshness that I put on it when I did the My Thoughts video, I thought, you know what, I shouldn't be that harsh on something until I actually review it myself and see it in hand. And I have watched Justin's review and a whole bunch of other videos, pretty much every video up to this point now. Since last night, I've watched all the main reviews, really, just skimming through them on the classic suit Hot Toys Spider-Man. And it doesn't look as bad in the videos as it does in the blogger pictures and the original promotional pictures they brought out. So I'm curious, so I've got it coming, and we'll see how I feel about it. I'll review the classic suit Hot Toys Spider-Man for you in the next couple of days and give you a true light review, because I do love the vibrancy of the suit. The red and the blue is absolutely stunning on it, and I do think, taking away the issues with some of the choices that they made with the design of it, I do think it seems to be the one to have. If you're only going to have the one Hot Toys Spider-Man, the classic suit from the video game seems to be the one to get at the moment. So, yeah, that's coming tomorrow, should be. So I'll be bringing you a video on that real soon, and then we'll get that First Blood Rambo figure review up for you as soon as that arrives. So some good stuff coming up on the channel. I'm still working on my Michael Myers masks. I've got 2 Halloween Kills masks available to buy. They're not finished yet. I've been taking my time with them, but I do have 2 Halloween Kills masks available if you want to get in touch about those. And that's it for now. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you follow me on Instagram at DeanKnight333. Massive thank you to Al once again for this awesome cape. It looks fantastic, and I'm very, very pleased to have it. Thank you very much, mate. Alright, I'll see you soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.